Thank you very much. Chief Rabbi, Rabbonim, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and thank you as ever for your wonderful support. You know, one of our politicians stood up at a party conference around 18 months ago and spoke about people as citizens of nowhere. Now, in one sense, the positive sense, I could get that concept. We are connected across the world every minute of every day. Influence and network transcends national borders. It transcends continents. Does identity belong to a nation state, or is it about a set of values, defined not by our borders, but by ideas? But in another, more important sense, in my view, I just don't really get that concept at all. We might be citizens of the world, but we cannot be citizens of nowhere. What is the global community, if not the collective total of millions of communities, religious, cultural, ideological, familial, geographic? We all belong in one way or another, and we define where we belong. We in this room have the privilege to make that choice, to define our identity, to shape our own lives and those around us, our families, our communities. So let me speak personally. My identity: Mancunian, British, Jewish, a father, a son, a husband. For all the talk of a globalized world, actually in practice, what defines me is local. It's not global. So here's the rub, and here's what I want to talk to you about tonight. World Jewish Relief might have global reach, but tonight I want to make it local. This is our backyard. This is our family, our community. 350,000 Jews in Ukraine, in Lvov, as we've heard, in Georgia, in Belarus, in Moldova. Tonight, let us all be part of that Jewish family, and let us make the positive choice to support, to empathize, and yes, to change lives. But before I tell you more about our Jewish family, and let me pause to also celebrate our wider humanitarian work across the world, because that too is part of our Jewish response. Where we see suffering, we find ways to support, to alleviate, and that's precisely what we have done here in the UK, our backyard, over the past year, for example, helping Syrian refugees who have settled here to learn English and to find work. And I want to take a moment to pay tribute to the Chief Rabbi and his strong leadership that he has shown in pressing the Jewish community to look beyond our borders. Chief Rabbi, as you said on this stage last year, the traditional Jewish response to the suffering of others is to build bridges. We reach out, we help people regardless of whether they are Jewish or not. And let me be clear, our humanitarian work is in addition to, not instead of, our work with our Jewish family. But let me return now to the story of that family, the focus for this evening. Because friends, a mere 3-hour flight from Heathrow, some of the most vulnerable Jewish communities in the world. Their story is our story. Their future is indeed our future. And tonight, I am sounding the alarm bell. Let it ring in our ears, because vulnerability, poverty, and despair, like I have seen with my own eyes in places like Kiev and Kharkov and Lviv, cannot go on. These people are part of our Jewish family. Let me tell you about Alia. Severely disabled, Alia has spent the last 16 years with a prosthetic leg that frankly caused more pain and did more harm than good. But with no welfare state and no family, the lights simply went out. 16 years with no hope, waking up with one desire, that each day would be her last. Mikhail, divorced, alone. 5 years ago, he lost his mother and suffered a heart attack. Unable to work, these traumas took away his confidence, his basic sense of self-worth. Today, living below the breadline, Mikhail is forced to live in a squalid flat. I saw it with my own eyes. It's a hell on earth. Broken windows, chronic damp, no plumbing, destitution. And there's Galina. She fled Donetsk with her young son, Vasily, a refugee, fleeing a war zone only 3 hours from Heathrow. Friends, she arrived in Kiev with nothing, no money, no home, no support. A strong woman with dignity and drive, thrown into darkness and despair. And there's Ludmila. She has lived for almost 80 years with next to no sight, a condition that could have been fixed with a simple operation. And every day for Ludmila has been a struggle, surviving on the margins. But let me tell you, Ludmila has immense courage. She might not be able to see, but she is in fact one of Ukraine's finest chess players. I know this. I've played against her. And let me tell you, it's me who is thankful for her charity. Alia, Mikhail, Galina, Ludmila, they are all part of our Jewish family. Their stories could be our stories. Friends, that alarm bell is ringing right now. We have two choices. We can stand back. We can say our Jewish family should abandon their homes, the homes of their mothers and fathers. We should say they could move to Israel. And let me be clear, for some that might be the answer. For others, who are too frail or just feel like home is home, it's not. We can say the failings of Ukraine are not our responsibility, that the Ukrainian government should build a welfare state. They should take care of their own citizens. Or we can take responsibility and we can act. World Jewish Relief, with your help, is about action. We are about the here and now. We are about changing lives, Jewish lives. Thanks to your support, Alia had a hip replacement 4 months ago and was fitted with a new prosthetic leg. I met her, still on crutches, but progressing well. And let me tell you, at 74, she has the glow, the hope, and the spark of a 21-year-old, thirsty for life again, ready to give back. How? By volunteering, of course, in her local Jewish community. Mikhail, we repaired his home, and with that, he can repair his life. No one should have to live with the despair and destitution that Mikhail faced. He can live again with dignity, and who knows, with dignity comes hope. Galina, still traumatized by the horror of war. She still lives in the bottom bunk bed in a big hostel, no place to bring up her son Vasily. But her journey is forwards now. Galina went through World Jewish Relief's livelihood program, and when I met her, she told me of her plans to set up her own business. I know she will get there. She has drive in her eyes, the basic maternal instinct to provide for Vasily, her son. Galina is not interested in handouts. All she needed was one hand up. And Ludmila, she could be my grandmother, a phenomenal Jewish woman who at the tender age of 79 absolutely thrashed me at chess. You will see in the film we're about to show you how World Jewish Relief has transformed her life. And there are so many more lives we can transform. The real tragedy is it is just not that hard. We can end Jewish poverty. We should end Jewish poverty, but we must end Jewish poverty. And please, let us do it now. Our Jewish family should not live a day longer in the sort of conditions we still see, only 3 hours from Heathrow. And we need 3 things to get the job done: money, great partners, and courageous clients. We have courageous clients. I've met them. You've heard about them. You'll see them in our film. We have great partners who dedicate their own lives to bettering the lives of others. People like Vladimir, who you heard from earlier, working tirelessly to support the elder generation, enriching Jewish community life, and doing so with passion, energy, and impact. So what we need is money, please. Why am I happy to ask of you so directly? Because this is the best investment you will ever make. Those who we help do not want to rely on that help. For many, we can get them back on track so they can help themselves. And for others, many of them Holocaust survivors, We will support them for the rest of their lives. They deserve it. So with your support, let us set 3 simple goals for our Jewish family, goals that are achievable, and they are achievable now. First, let us eradicate destitute Jewish homes for good. Following last year's dinner, our patron, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, urged us to speed up this process so that we repair 3,500 homes by 2021 at a cost of £7 million. We can get the job done. With your help, we can do this. We owe it to people like Michael to act now. Second, let us stop the cycle of poverty by helping people to become self-sufficient. This year alone, we will put 3,000 people through our livelihood programmes at a cost of £630,000. At least 70% of those 3,000 people will find work immediately. We owe it to Galina and others like her to help them get back on their feet. And third, let us embrace our Jewish family. Through our home care and other welfare programmes, we will help almost 18,000 people this year at a cost of £1.8 million. We owe it to people like Ludmila to ensure they do not wait another day for the life-changing support they deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, this is local. This is our family. This is our backyard. The alarm bells are ringing, and they are ringing now. Thank you.